as you all could probably hear in the background, it is raining like so crazy. It's raining so hard. And of course, condolences and utmost sympathy for everybody out here who's been grieving and mourning and still in shock by the news yesterday. Luckily, I was able to post up some pictures and, how I feel about the state of the world since the news that the Queen has passed so abruptly. I was able to share live my reaction as I would have loved to, of course, because, this will be marked for a very long time. This right here, this situation right here will be seen, and will be talked about. Even the Queen's passing, even though the Queen has passed yesterday on a Thursday afternoon, UK, London time, the reality is that we have a long way to go. I've heard about now, it's so hard to still wrap my head around, you all. Snuggled up here. It's been raining. I mean, actually, the crazy part is ever since the news of the Queen has passed, it's been raining, and I'm not located in London anymore. As you all know, if you don't know, if you hear thunder, if you hear lightning, if you hear crazy noises, it's because it is pouring outside. And so, I'm across the pond currently. I did visit back my home country last year proudly, and I can't wait to go back, especially since I heard the news. I've always wanted to be there at least when there's the coronation of William and Catherine or the Queen's death. And the way it's looking, I'm just being honest, is perhaps maybe when Catherine and William will be king and queen one day. I think that's when I will make my trip. Right now, I don't know. It's a little bit short notice. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I may decide, hey, you know what? I want to go to England for the Queen's funeral. I want to pull it out of my behind, so to speak, and make plans and book everything. But never say never. I did want to go. I still want to go. Just have to see when those dates are. True to the video title, I've not seen the King Charles's first address, so maybe he said in the video when the funeral is. You see, I have no idea, so I'm gonna watch it, give you guys a live reaction live. You'll be able to hear to some extent him in the background. So if you do hear King Charles's voice in the background, it's because I'm watching it on my MacBook Pro live for the first time. I've not seen it. Got home, been raining. Now I get to see it in its entirety. I've not seen anything. All I've seen on social media is the upgrade of title for William and Catherine as the Prince and Princess of Wales. I could not be happier. 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 The only thing that made me happier than them getting the beloved title that Diana once held and Prince Charles once held is them being king and queen. That's really the cherry on top for me, is if William and Catherine are king and queen. There's nothing higher than that in terms of royalty that I can be happy about. Except, of course, a new baby. And if we're talking about them, with their ranking and with their duty, the only happier step for Prince William and Catherine that I could see is if they had another baby or if they were king and queen consort, and they're not right now. As we can see, Charles is the king. Camilla is by his side. I know all of us have our feelings about that. Yesterday night, I think for me, it settled in when I realized that this would have been Diana. That was a huge emotional roller coaster. This has all been for me as a born British citizen, native, and now living in America, also a citizen, seeing the Americans' reaction, seeing the British people's reaction. It's just been a swirl of emotion for me. I don't know about you all, but it's been really emotional. It's been really just nostalgic and reminiscent, and at the same time excited for the future, but also sad about the Queen's passing. It's just been this whole concoction of emotion for me. And when I saw the new titles for William and Catherine, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I wish they were King Queen. I do. But I think that with my reaction to this first address from King Charles, I will be able to see how I really feel about him being king, because it's really not until I'm seeing him in that role that I can say, okay, I'm all right with it. Even though I prefer William and Catherine, it's all right. I'll wait. I'll wait for a little bit. He is over 70, right? King Charles is how old is King Charles, you all? Let me look up his age here. According to Google, he was born November 14th. I know he is a Scorpio, like myself, Scorpio sun sign. He is 73. Okay, so, how long would this be? Really? If the queen, let's do the math. If the queen died at 96, right? Let's do 96 minus 73. Okay. The longest reign he's going to have, if he passes around the queen's age, his mother's age, Elizabeth II, would be 20, 23, 20 up, 23 and up years. That's a long time, though. That is a long time. If King Charles can live up to 96 like his mother did, that'd be a 23-year reign. Obviously not as long as the Queen, which is 70-year plus reign, but it is long. It is long if we're talking about the modern age, and we're talking about what King Charles can do with his reign. What can, the question that I'm interested to see now is, what can King Charles do in 20 odd years? If that's the trajectory. If he can live up to 96, it's 23 exact years. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's emotional to see what he can do. So with that said, I think it's time for me to turn on the video and see this address. I'm very interested to see. I'm gonna put in here if the royal, I know that the royal family have a website, and I prefer to see it on their website if they have it posted. I'm not sure if they do. Right now I have it from The Guardian, a live broadcast, and I just want to make sure that this is, so on the Guardian's website, it's about 9 minutes, but I've seen other videos are 10. So let me just make sure I'm getting the full address here. And thank you all for watching with me and supporting. And oh goodness, let me not leave this out. I've seen you all's passionate comments, emotional comments, even upset comments about Harry and Meghan. I should do a separate video about the fact that he was the, if I could fit it in the title, I will. He was the last to arrive and the first to leave. Now, people that are, Harry fans are trying to patch things up and sugar it up as to why he was late and why he left. Don't really carry the way. I prefer him not to be there in its entirety. So he was the first to leave Balmoral, and I'm not surprised at all. It's typical Harry, popping in, popping out, ready to go back to America. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. I can't even believe that they consider him a royal, really. I mean, he doesn't do anything. So let's see if I can get the full address here. This one is 54 minutes, 15 seconds from the ABC News. Fox is 8:46. CNN is 9:01 exact. So let me just check this video. I think this one should be fine. This one is well over 9 minutes, so I prefer to watch this one. All right, let's go. So my first reaction, you all. My pleasure. Oh, there he is. There's a picture of the Queen in blue, a beautiful pastel light blue with a red flower on her hat. I love that picture. It's a beautiful picture. Wow, let's see. I'm very, and I pray that YouTube gives us no issues, because YouTube, sometimes I worry about YouTube's policies and all that. All right, let's go. I'm excited, you all. Let's see what he has to say. All right, King Charles, take it away.
Throughout her life,
here we go.
I speak to you today with feelings of profound sorrow. Throughout her life, Her Majesty
I like
the
his
Queen,
suit.
my beloved mother, was an inspiration, an example to me and to all my family. And we owe her the most heartfelt debt any family can owe to their mother, for her love, affection, guidance, understanding, and example. Queen Elizabeth was a life well lived, a promise with destiny kept, and she is mourned most deeply in her passing.
A promise that destiny kept,
That
child.
promise of lifelong service I renew to you all today. Alongside the personal grief that all my family are feeling, we also share with so many of you in the United Kingdom, in all the countries where the Queen was head of state, in the Commonwealth, and across the world, a deep sense of gratitude for the more than 70 years in which my mother, as Queen, served the people of so many nations. In 1947, on her 21st birthday, she pledged in a broadcast from Cape Town to the Commonwealth to devote her life, whether it be short or long, to the service of her peoples. That was more than a promise. It was a profound personal commitment which defined her whole life. She made sacrifices for duty. Her dedication and devotion as sovereign never wavered through times of change and progress, through times of joy and celebration, and through times of sadness and loss. In her life of service, we saw that abiding love of tradition, together with that fearless embrace of progress, which makes us great as nations. The affection, admiration, and respect she inspired became the hallmark of her reign. And as every member of my family can testify, she combined these qualities with warmth, humor, and an unerring ability always to see the best in people. I pay tribute to my mother's memory, and I honor her life of service. I know that her death brings great sadness to so many of you, and I share that sense of loss beyond measure with you all. When the Queen came to the throne, Britain and the world were still coping with the privations and aftermath of the Second World War, and still living by the conventions of earlier times. In the course of the last 70 years, we have seen our society become one of many cultures and many faiths. The institutions of the state have changed in turn. But through all changes and challenges, our nation and the wider family of realms, of whose talents, traditions, and achievements I am so inexpressibly proud, have prospered and flourished.
I like that part right there.
Our values have remained and must remain constant. The role and the duties of monarchy also remain, as does the sovereign's particular relationship and responsibility towards the Church of England, the church in which my own faith is so deeply rooted. In that faith and the values it inspires, I have been brought up to cherish a sense of duty to others, and to hold in the greatest respect the precious traditions, freedom, and responsibilities of our unique history and our system of parliamentary government. As the Queen herself did with such unswerving devotion, I too now solemnly pledge myself, throughout the remaining time God grants me, to uphold the constitutional principles at the heart of our nation. And wherever you may live in the United Kingdom, or in the realms and territories across the world, And whatever may be your background or beliefs, I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love, as I have throughout my life.
Aw, and love. I like that.
My life will, of course, change.
It's very loving. I like
as
it.
I
It's
take
nice.
up my new responsibilities.
I like it.
It will no longer be possible for me to give so much of my time and energies to the charities and issues for which I care so deeply. But I know this important work will go on in the trusted hands of others.
Trusted hands
This
of
is
others.
also a time of change for my family. I count on the loving help of my darling wife, Camilla. In recognition of her own loyal public service since our marriage 17 years ago, she becomes my queen consort. I know she will bring to the demands of her new role the steadfast devotion to duty on which I have come to rely so much. As my heir, William now assumes the Scottish titles which have meant so much to me. He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall and takes on the responsibilities for the Duchy of Cornwall, which I have undertaken for more than 5 decades.
50 years.
Today,
wow,
I am proud to create him Prince of Wales, Tywysog Cymru, the country whose title I've been so greatly privileged to bear during so much of my life and duty. With Catherine beside him, our new Prince and Princess of Wales will, I know, continue to inspire and lead our national conversations, helping to bring the marginal to the center ground, where vital help can be given. I want also to express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas.
Crickets. Next.
In a little over a week's time, we will come together as a nation, as a Commonwealth, and indeed a global community.
The funeral he's talking about.
To lay my beloved mother to rest.
It's a funeral.
In our sorrow, let us remember and draw strength from the light of her example. On behalf of all my family, I can only offer the most sincere and heartfelt thanks for your condolences and support. They mean more to me than I can ever possibly express. And to my darling Mama, as you begin your last great journey to join my dear late Papa, I want simply to say this: thank you. Thank you for your love and devotion to our family and to the family of nations you have served so diligently all these years. May flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Oh, that's it? Oh my God. Wow. Is that really it? Oh my goodness. So that time, okay, so it's finished, you all. Whoo. Okay. Wow. It seems like my eyes were doing its own thing. It was getting quite watery. I don't know why throughout the speech. So let's get them out the way. Charles so cleverly said, as they continue to build their lives overseas or in America, he used something of that nature in the speech. Okay, and I think that, I mean, obviously, oh, well, this may be a little controversial, but over the years, people have cracked jokes about a paternity test in regards to Harry being a ginger, which now King Charles is not a ginger. And that comes up that comes up for when he speaks like that, for some reason. And he is the as a stand, the father of Harry. So I think that he understands that people are, that do love Harry and Meghan, want to hear them in the speech. Do I think it could have been left out? Absolutely. Absolutely. King Charles, King Charles saying that they're going to build their life overseas has no benefit to the Commonwealth, has no benefit to the monarch, has no benefit to the British people at all. They're not serving the British people. They're not serving the Commonwealth. So, he's just showing. I think that not even just King Charles, but Charles himself. I just think that Charles is showing how loving and nice he can be. So I think that's why he put that in there. But personally, I it didn't do anything for me. The very small mention of Harry and Meghan did nothing for me in that. It could have been left out of it personally. Now the rest of the speech, now that that's out the way, the rest of the speech, I think, one second, you all. It is raining. Allergies. I think the rest of the speech was superb. Very emotional. The word that sticks out to me is loving. I got a very warm feeling from watching that. And the mention of his mother, who was our queen, I wish it was longer when he was talking about how the queen has diligently given her life, to serve, and all the amazing things she's done and has accomplished and did while she was alive. I would have loved for him to talk more about that. To be very honest with you, I would have loved for him to go even deeper and talk about maybe her last final engagements, or certain things that maybe she would say to him that would help his now reign as the new king. That was the most important part to me, if I'm being honest, was him speaking about the mantle, the mantle now that he's carrying as king. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for him to talk about what his new rulership is going to look like, and, what his, it's a high honor, it's a high position. So I was looking for keywords that would describe his reign, because it's not his mother's anymore. It's not Queen Elizabeth's anymore. So I don't really know if I heard anything that stood out to me in terms of what his reign as king is going to look like. I didn't really hear anything that kind of stood out to me in terms of what his, him being king is going to look like. I didn't, I heard modern. I heard the word modern, I think, once, but I didn't really connect that with him. So I'm not really sure I've kind of forgot now what that was really tying to. I think it was more so tying to, okay, now I got it. So that was more so tying into the diversity and the different beliefs and people that are now in the Commonwealth. Excuse me. That's what he was talking more of, from what I heard. It was more so about the diversity of different faiths and backgrounds and people and different age groups. And, that's a given. That is a given. I mean, if you look at society, like he said, it is full of diversity. And I liked that part where he spoke about the prosperity of the people. That was a beautiful touch, because it's true. society in England and in across the pond and everywhere that the UK has impacted, the monarch, the royal family has impacted, is special in its own way, will be special in its own way. So I did like that touch. But I think that we're going to have to maybe see more of his royal engagements and other speeches. Because for now, just the energy that I got was, it's very loving. I felt a lot of warm energy, which I like to see, especially in somebody who has so much power, so much influence. I think it's important to have that human touch, that human connectivity, and not be so rigid or cold. And that could be something that I will say now, I think that could be something with King Charles that sets him apart. Quite like Diana, I couldn't help but think that Diana should be there. At the top of the address, I could almost feel like she would be next to him, or she would have her own address, you know. But she's no longer with us. But it's just Charles now. But I couldn't help but feel that energy. I don't know if you all felt it, but I could not help but feel that warm energy. I'm gonna touch my nose. Was I? Still recovering, but and from the hoopla of yesterday was just a lot. So really, it was, I think, superb for him. I think it was perfect for him. Whatever was drawn up for this speech, I liked it. I liked it. I liked it. And I would have loved for it to be a little bit longer, but I'm sure maybe they have protocol around how long it can be and how long it needs to be. Because remember, this is like, I see this as King Charles's introduction. The way that I'm seeing it is like this is an introduction to the rest of his life, serving like his mom did, which, as he said, he's promising to uphold. I like that touch about it. He did say that he is promising to fulfill that, to step into that, to, like his mother did, be that beacon of light, be that strength for a whole nation, for really a whole world. Because like we saw yesterday with the Queen's passing, it's not just about even though people that are born there, raised there, like myself, or you still live there, you feel that it is about England and the Commonwealth and the United Kingdom. Of course it is, but there's other people in other nations that also feel connected to the British royal family. And how amazing is that? You don't have to be born right in England to have an affinity or have a connection or feel like this is the royal family that you call your own. And even as King Charles touched upon, he said, whether her reign be long or short, and her life be long or short. And I've always loved that from the Queen. That was something that I've always loved to hear from the Queen when they would play her voice at the end of royal videos, or when she would speak herself in formal addresses or events. Excuse me, all my nose, stuffy. I just loved, I always loved when the Queen would say that, whether it be long or short. And thank God, God save the Queen. It was long. It was a long, long reign, longer than I think a lot of people, even herself, maybe expected, over, almost a century. And for those who were shedding tears yesterday about her not making it to 100, quite like Betty White and other celebrities. No need to cry. 96 is long enough. If she was supposed to live to 100, she would live to 100. But as the Queen said, whether it's long or short. And I loved how King Charles, her son, put that in there, because that was always a phrase that I would tie to the Queen, always in my head. When I connect her to a speech or to a phrase, that was one of them. So, brilliant job, King Charles. I think that you hit the nail on the head. I'm very pleased. I'm also very pleased with the new Prince and Princess of Wales. I'm blushing thinking about it. I cannot wait to see what they do. I hope that William and Catherine are able to visit Wales more in person and to, lay some foundation over there, because that's where now, in a big way, they represent, is Wales. And that is what Diana her was, the Princess of Wales. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And I'm so happy, you all. So is there anything else I want to add in this video in regards to, let me just look at the video of the speech here and see if there's anything else that stood out to me, excuse me. Anything else stood out to me? Well, I like his suit. I like the energy. The energy, of course, for me is very important, it's very important. I look at I think a lot of us who are intuitive, we look at the energy first, or spiritual, and then the words and the actions. It's the intent. And the intent of the speech was one of love. And like Diana, the Queen of Hearts, the Princess of Hearts was a common, titles that people would associate Diana with, the people's princess, And I saw that in Charles, I saw that in Charles. I did. I saw that kind of energy in Charles when he was speaking, is that kind of warm, fuzzy love energy. I did get that. I did get that, and that reminded me of Diana. So, sadly, regardless of how their marriage dissolved and the tragedy of Diana, they were still married. You know what I'm saying? Like, Diana and Charles were still married, and still were so prominent and important to the royal family. When they were together and apart, they were still such big influences, not only in the UK, but globally. And I can't help but think that Charles is going to kind of emulate that from Diana. I can't help but think there's going to be some kind of international spin on him being king. I think that, sorry, you all, I think that it would be great if King Charles can go international. Now as king, maybe to Australia, India, Africa. Goodness, I think it'd be nice to see him go international now with it. So I'm very pleased. I think that I had a certain bar. I do think I had a certain bar of what I was looking for, what I was expecting, and I think that he definitely superseded that, because it was authentic. That's what I was really looking for, is, okay, what is it going to be, cold, or is it going to be inviting, embracing, emotional, or more quiet, more calculated. I was looking for, what was he gonna do? And it seemed like everything was just based on love, an emotion, an affinity for what his mother, the queen, did, and the people, the people of the Commonwealth. That was such a big deal. And sorry, well, I'm a little stuffy, so if I wipe my nose, over here, allergies. So now the sun's come back up, so it should be fine now. But, I feel warm. I feel warm from watching that. And I can't help but think of Diana. I can't help but think that, she should be there. What would she do? Whether she was still with Charles or not, you think about, what would she do on that day of the Queen's passing? How would she look? What would she wear? What would she say? You know, would she hug her sons? Would the paparazzi get Diana embracing William, embracing Harry, you know, before they go on the plane to see the Queen? I mean, there's so many things that could have happened that we could have saw with Diana that I can't help but feel from watching that, you know. But in a way, I almost hope that Charles can kind of carry Diana into this new era, you know, in a strange about way. I almost hope that he can include some of that good Diana love and that warm fuzzy feeling to him being king. So thank you all for watching. I'm gonna go finish blowing my nose now and wiping my tears and wiping my eyes. You know, I think sometimes if you've been crying a lot, you also can get quite stuffy, and I think I've cried more these past couple of weeks than I've cried in years. I'm not even a crier, and so it's just my face feels quite puffy, as you guys can hear on camera, so I do apologize for that. But I will take care of myself. I'm all bundled up, and I'm gonna go back and rest and take some more cold medicine. So thank you all for the love. You know, on that note, thank you all for the love. I hope you all are doing well, and you know, long live the king, and long may the Queen be forever.